Hi, Tam here. Why is water more expensive than Coke? Why is water, bottled mineral water, more expensive than Coke, Pepsis, and other sodas? I mean, I've asked myself this question for many years, why is that? Now, not in every country of the world, but in many countries around the world, you find that bottled mineral water is as expensive or more expensive than Coke, than Coca-Cola. And I'm only using Coca-Cola as the flagship of soda drinks. But that includes Pepsi's and other brands of fizzy soft drinks, right? Now I've been wondering, looking at the two products, right? Liter for liter, mineral bottled water on the one hand, and fizzy drinks, soft drinks like Coca-Cola, right? When you compare the ingredients, you would think that Coca-Cola, for instance, would be more expensive. After all, it's got carbonated water, phosphoric acid, flavorants, colorants, sweeteners, caffeine. All that stuff should be more expensive than mineral water. Because the only thing you have in mineral water, right, it's just plain filtered water bottled at the source that went through the bedrock in some few years, and which contains calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, sulfate, nitrates, and some silica residues. That's all. There's no added sugars, there's no added sweeteners, there's no added flavorants. There's definitely no caffeine. So why? If a can of soda, right, is that cheap as compared to water, then what the hell is in that, right? Come on, man, what's going on? I'm talking about mineral bottled water. I'm not talking about bottled tap water, right? Coca-Cola does Dasani water. Dasani belongs to Coca-Cola, right? But they use tap water. Can you believe that? They use tap water. Just wrap your mind around that. Coca-Cola, right? We refuse to use tap water to make their sodas, right? To make Coca-Cola, right? They use groundwater, which is much superior, filtered through the bedrock and everything, mineral water. But they will use tap water to actually produce their water. So Coca-Cola produces Dasani water, Dasani bottled water, and they use municipal tap water, and they just distill it and filter it by reverse osmosis, bottle it and sell it to you. So they're selling you tap water, which comes with all the things that are in tap water. Just so you know, there is fluoride in tap water and there is chlorine. So when a company takes tap water and then distills and filters it by reverse osmosis, bottles it and sells it to you, they're selling you water that contains chlorine and fluoride. So should you consume sodas, right? I'm just posing the question to you. As a doctor, right, I know about the negative effects that sodas such as Coca-Cola have on the human body in the long term. You know, those sweeteners, those flavorants, those acidic compounds like phosphoric acid and stuff, you know, the caffeine, you know, the sugar, you know, all these things in the long term cannot be good for the body, you know, but I cannot prove any of that. That's the problem. And no doctor can prove that Pepsi or Coke or whatever, you know, is negatively impacting your life. Because if you want to do that, you would have to do a peer-reviewed, randomized controlled trial. And we can't. For two reasons. I mean, the first thing is that there would be some ethical issue. If you know or suspect that something is dangerous to your health, how can you then take 1,000 people and ask them to exclusively and solely drink Coca-Cola every single day of their lives for, let's say, a year, and then study, you know, the repercussions of that kind of drinking on their health? No. And secondly, it's impossible because even if you somehow manage to control these test subjects into making them drink Coke and Coke only, with absolutely no water, no juice, nothing else, and out of 1,000, X% develops certain types of cancer. Let's say colon cancer or, you know, stomach cancer, whatever, you know, you still won't be able to prove that the origin of the cancer is environmental, meaning due to the consumption of the sodas, right? Because then what component of the soda has caused the disease? Was it the sweetener? Was it the phosphoric acid? Was it the colorant? Which one was it? And then these people are eating as well. So even if you're able to control what they're drinking, you know, they'll be eating all sorts of food. So it could be the red meat that they've been eating. Red meat is known to cause colonic cancer, stomach cancers and stuff. It could be the processed food that they've been eating for years, right? It could have been any kind of food that they have been taking for many years. And then thirdly, you know, a study like that would have to be done over 30, 40, 50 years, which won't be possible. You can't control, you know, test subjects like that for that length of time, for 20 years. And that's why, you know, we're never able to prove any of the deleterious effects of sodas, unfortunately, you know. But one thing I know as a doctor, right, is that sodas in general, and I'm talking Coca-Cola in particular because Coca-Cola is the flagship of all sodas, right? The biggest of them all, the biggest company in the world, the biggest maker, producer, distributor of sodas, right? A market capitalization of $180 billion plus. So they are the giants, you know, there's no competition. Coca-Cola dominates the world of drinks, of fizzy drinks, sodas and stuff like that. And they're expanding into orange juices and water and all these things. That's why I'm mentioning Coca-Cola right now. right? So what I know is that in the case of Coke, Pepsi and the others, it's quite clear that they cause GERD, right? And GERD in medicine is what we call gastroesophageal reflux disease. Now, I'm not saying that Coke, Pepsis, and the rest are the cause of GERD, but I'm saying that it's a definite contributor to GERD. So when you talk about gastroesophageal, I mean, I don't want to be too technical, but to make things simple, when I say GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, basically I'm saying, just to simplify things, gastritis, stomach irritation, increased acidity of the stomach, which damages the lining of the stomach, and that can cause peptic ulcers, that can cause reflux, that can cause indigestions and stuff like that, So basically, fizzy drinks, which are gaseous in nature and are quite acidic, meaning they have a low pH, will increase the acidity of the stomach even more. Coupled with that, you will find that most people who don't drink sodas but prefer water tend to eat food that are cleaner as well. And inversely to that, people who prefer Cokes and sodas and all that stuff over water, and drink much more sodas than water, they prefer food that are also not the healthiest. Processed food, fast food, Coke and McDonald's, they go together, your Coke and your fast food, they go together, right? And now, you've got a situation where your stomach is already quite acidic naturally, you're eating food that's going to promote, potential problems like GERD, cheesy food, fatty food, salty food, spicy food, fast food. And at the end, you're washing it down with some nice Coke or Pepsi stuff, creating a bomb in your stomach there. And that's when you're like, oof, oh, I'm feeling unwell. Yeah, of course you're feeling unwell. What have you done to your stomach, mate? So that's the situation, Now, all these different parameters should be able to answer your question as to whether you should drink Coke and other soda drinks or not. But on top of that, there is also an ethical issue, a very serious question of ethics. And this question is affecting one country more than any other in the world when it comes to Coca-Cola, right? And that's Mexico. Mexico is the number one country when it comes to the consumption of Coca-Cola, right? There's no country in the world that consumes more Coca-Cola than in Mexico, The consumption of Coca-Cola in Mexico per person is way above 100 liters per person per year. The country is smaller than the United States, has a smaller population than the United States, but it consumes much more Coca-Cola than the United States. It's not by choice, really. And that's the ethical issue part of it. You see, what has happened there I would not blame Coca-Cola only, like many others have done, you know, but I would blame first and foremost the Mexican government. Because whatever Coca-Cola is doing in Mexico, they're doing it according to the law, right? They're not breaking the law. They're following the proper corporate channels, and they're abiding to the corporate laws of the country. So, in Mexico, there is a place called San Cristobal. Beautiful, lovely place. And Coca-Cola, right? When they really wanted to get big and expand, right? They realized that, you know, as far as the United States was concerned, there wasn't much possible growth still. And as far as many other countries were concerned, like France and you know, certain European countries where they were already there for many years. I mean, you know, they realized that the expansion was never really going to be that great. So in Mexico, they expanded aggressively. They set base in San Cristobal, where they built a huge production company, right? And that's when the problem started. In San Cristobal. Remember I said that, you know, Coca-Cola actually doesn't use tap water to process their Coca-Colas and other sodas. They use groundwater. So in San Cristobal, there is a vast area of groundwater. So they've got this huge Coca-Cola factory, and they are pumping groundwater from the region there to make their Cokes. And by their Cokes, I mean their Coca-Cola products, right? Now, to make 1 liter of Coca-Cola, you need about 6 liters of groundwater. 6 liters of groundwater to produce 1 liter of Coke. So you can imagine how much water they're pumping out of the aquiferous bedrock to produce their Cokes. They use 750,000 liters of water per day. They're pumping out 750,000 liters of water per day for their production. 750,000 liters per day. Naturally, over the years, the groundwater has been depleted. And as a result of that, the local population of San Cristobal has noticed over the years that their water supply has dried up. Their wells are empty, you know. Their boreholes are empty, you know. They basically don't have water because Coca-Cola is using up all that potable water that is actually theirs. It's a tragedy. But like I said, Coca-Cola is only doing this because the government, the Mexican government, is allowing them to do that. So I'm not just going to blame Coca-Cola for it. I will first blame the Mexican government. Now you might ask, how is that possible? How did the government allow something like that to happen? You know? Well, before I tell you that, let me tell you how Coca-Cola has remedied the situation. And that's so ironic. Because the local population has run out of water, Coca-Cola is producing Coca-Cola, use that water, and is reselling these Cokes at a price cheaper than water. Because now these people have to pay for bottled water because they don't have enough water, but they don't have money. It's mostly a poor population, it's a rural population. So instead of buying bottled water, they're now buying Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola is selling it to them much cheaper. And so it's another situation where Coca-Cola is cheaper than water. And as a result of that, you find an entire population that has made Coca-Cola their culture. They drink more Coca-Cola than water there. Yeah. Now, how is this allowed to happen? You see, the current president of Mexico is really not responsible for the San Cristobal situation. I'm going to fly through this because I don't want to bore you with the geopolitical situation of Mexico, right? So, the current president of Mexico is Enrique Peña Nieto. Like I said, he's not the one who started this problem. Before him was Felipe Calderón. The president before Felipe Calderón was President Vicente Fox. Now, President Vicente Fox is actually the one where the focus should be on. You see, President Vicente Fox was the president of Mexico between the year 2000 and 2006. But now what's important about President Vicente Fox is that President Vicente Fox was to Mexico what Rex Tillerson is to the United States. You see, Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State, was, before he took that job, the CEO of Exxon. And so obviously, Rex Tillerson will always have a penchant for fossil fuel, and will always favor fossil fuel energy as opposed to, let's say, solar energy or, electric cars and stuff like that. He was the CEO of Exxon. He made his money at Exxon. He thrived under Exxon. He is loyal to Exxon. Right. Now, President Vicente Fox was the president of Mexico between the year 2000 and 2006. But before being the president, he was a governor for some years, and before that, he was the CEO of Coca-Cola Mexico. After being the CEO of Coca-Cola Mexico, he got promoted to being the CEO of Coca-Cola Latin America. He was overseeing the entire Latin America production of Coca-Cola, right? So, with him, he's the one who actually pushed and made it happen for the San Cristobal situation to be allowed. And when he became the president of Mexico, obviously, Coca-Cola got the green light to operate as they wished in San Cristobal. That's the short story, but that's actually what happened, So yes, some people are shocked by the San Cristobal situation, and some people are boycotting Coca-Cola around the world. People are refusing to drink Coca-Cola for different reasons, some because of the ethical issues that have happened in not only Mexico but other countries. And some are refusing to drink Coke for some ideological reasons or political reasons, or, a stand against imperialism and capitalism, or whatever the reason might be. But if you're refusing to support Coca-Cola, then you have to be informed. I saw a doctor not too long ago who said, I don't buy Coca-Cola, I don't drink Coca-Cola, I don't allow my kids to drink Coca-Cola, because of A, B, and C. And while he was saying that, the guy was having a Fanta, He was saying, what, I prefer giving my kids Fanta, or, he mentioned, I think, something else. And I said, but you know what? Fanta is Coca-Cola, man. And that other product you're mentioning, I think it was Minute Maid orange juice. It's also a Coca-Cola product. All right? So before you go blindly into boycotting Coca-Cola, if that's what you want to do, know what the Coca-Cola products are. Because Coca-Cola is Fanta, is Sprite, is Minute Maid, is Odwalla orange juice, is Dasani water, is a lot of things, is Fresca, is so many different products, right? So educate yourself first and then make a decision. Because quite frankly, it's kind of ridiculous if you're gonna boycott Coca-Cola, and while you're proudly saying, I refuse to drink Coca-Cola product, you're having a Fanta orange there, and you're proud of yourself. No, you just appear ignorant. So yeah, that's the story, right? So back to the question: is Coca-Cola good for you? Should you consume the product? I'm not here to give anybody a morality lesson here, right? I'm just telling you what's going on. Go on the internet and see for yourself. The only thing I'm doing here is I'm removing the branches covering the hole that leads to the truth. It might not be pretty, but we have to know. The best thing is to have the knowledge, right? So we have to educate ourselves. Once we're educated, we have the knowledge in our hands. We know the facts. We can make a decision, and we can decide if we want to continue support a certain product or not. That goes for Coca-Cola, that goes for many others, McDonald's. Just go behind the stories, educate yourself, and then decide if you still want to really support that particular company. Yeah? I think they say ignorance is bliss. It's true. You can drink Coke in the comfort of your house. That's true. If you're ignorant of all these things, yes, you will live a happy life for now. But in the long term, if you don't know, the negative effects of what you eat or what you drink, and if you don't know how some people in the world are being treated, for you to bath in the luxuries and the pleasures, the short-lived pleasures of some gaseous soda in your mouth. That's not cool. So, having had this talk about the ethic issues, the health issues, should you really drink Coke? All the best. Cheers.